Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks. Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Continuing Education, Certificate Programs, Certificate in Food and Nutrition, CFN, CFN-1 You and Your Food. Block-1 Food Groups, Nutrients and Their Functions. Unit-3 Macronutrients and Their Functions. In Unit-2 you have already learned that nutrients perform several important functions in our body. In this unit, you will study about macronutrients and their functions. 3.0 Objectives. After studying this unit you will be able to times state the functions and importance of each macronutrient in our diet, times list the important food sources of each of these nutrients, and times describe the effects of deficiency of these different nutrients. 3.1 Introduction. By now you know that carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals and water are the nutrients present in the food. But these nutrients are not present in the same amount in various foods. Some of these are present in larger amounts and others in smaller amounts. All these nutrients are important as they have varied functions in the body. In this unit you will learn about definitions of macronutrient and micronutrient, and the functions and sources of macronutrients. 3.2 Definitions of macronutrients and micronutrients. In Unit 2, you have studied the functions of food. In order to perform these functions, food contains a number of essential constituents known as nutrients which help in the performance of functions of body. Each nutrient has its own specific function to perform. You know that the nutrients are divided into 6 different categories. These are macronutrients, I. Carbohydrates, 2. Fats, 3. Proteins, micronutrients, 4. Water, V. Vitamins, 6. Minerals. The macronutrients are present in larger amount in any food while the micronutrients are present in much smaller amounts. For example, a food like rice, raw, milled, has 78.2 grams per cent carbohydrates, 6.8 grams per cent proteins, and 0.5 grams per cent fats, while it has only 0.06 mg per cent of vitamin B, and 10 milligrams per cent of calcium. Green leafy vegetables like spinach contain 92 grams per cent water while the amount of vitamin C is only 28 milligrams per cent. Our body's quantitative need for the macronutrients is higher than the need for the micronutrients. In this unit we will be learning about each of the macronutrients, their sources, functions and their effects on the body, if these nutrients are not present in adequate amounts in our diet. 3.3 Carbohydrates. Most foods that we eat contain some amount of carbohydrates. Carbohydrate is the nutrient that we consume daily in the maximum amount. These, therefore, make up the bulk of our diet. Carbohydrates are either naturally present as in rice, wheat, fruits, potato, honey, etc., or added in the form of sugar to food such as ice cream, cold drinks, tea, coffee and so on. There are some carbohydrates which are complex like starches which the body has to digest in order to use them. There are others which are simpler in nature like glucose, which can be used by the body directly. Sugar, which is so commonly used, is also an easily digestible carbohydrate. 3rd March 2001, Functions of carbohydrates. Given below is a brief description of 5 important functions of carbohydrates. I. Energy-giving action. Carbohydrates are the main source of energy. Each gram of carbohydrate gives 4 Cal of energy to the body. Although fats and proteins also provide energy, the intake of carbohydrates is much greater and so it is the most important source of energy to us. 2. Protein-sparing action. Proteins, about which you will be studying in The section 3.4 in this unit are required by the body mainly for bodybuilding purposes. At the same time, they can also provide energy to the body when there is a short supply of carbohydrates and fats. However, if proteins are used exclusively to give energy, it is wasteful, because they are mainly derived from expensive foods and their function is body building. It is, therefore, important that we should have sufficient amount of carbohydrates and fats in our diets. This will spare the proteins for their main task of bodybuilding, which carbohydrates and fats cannot perform. 3. Fat utilizing action. Carbohydrates, when present in adequate amounts in the diet, help in the proper utilization of fats in the body. 4. Flavor enhancing action. Carbohydrates like sugar, honey and jaggery give flavor to the food, making it tasty and acceptable. Digestive action. There are some forms of carbohydrates called fiber or roughage which are not digested by the body and therefore do not provide any energy. These are, however, important to us. They give bulk to the diet and so help in normal movement of the food in the gastrointestinal tract. This helps to prevent constipation. These are present in coarse grains and green leafy vegetables. Carbohydrates are the main and easily digestible source of energy. 3rd March 2002 sources. Sugar, jaggery and honey are pure carbohydrates. Cereals, pulses, roots and tubers like potatoes, sweet potatoes, beetroot and yam are very rich sources of carbohydrates. Fruits, especially bananas, mangoes, pineapples and grapes, are also a good source of carbohydrates. Figure 3.1, Carbohydrate-rich foods. Look at the screen for table content. 3rd March 2003 Effects of deficiency and excess on the body. The effects of carbohydrates on the human body can be related to their deficiency or excess in diet. Lack of carbohydrates in the diet, basically, causes lack of energy. This leads to underweight, tiredness and poor work efficiency. Excess of carbohydrates in diet. If our diet has excess carbohydrates, it is converted into fat and stored in our body. Therefore, an increased intake of carbohydrates leads to overweight. This in turn can be one of the causes for other diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, etc. Practical activity 1. List 5 good sources of carbohydrates that you commonly consume. You are listening to this audiobook on Audio Learn IGNOU. 3.4 Fats. Fats are the concentrated sources of energy in our diet. They form an important part of our daily food. Though we mainly consume fats in the form of butter, ghee, oils, etc. Some amount of fat is also present in foods like milk, nuts and meat. 3rd April 2001 Functions of fats. We will discuss 6 major functions of fats. Source of energy. Fats are the richest sources of energy. 1 gram of fat gives 9 kcal, which is more than double the amount obtained from equal amounts of carbohydrates and proteins. 2. Carrier of fat-soluble vitamins. Some fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K need fat for their proper absorption and utilization in the body. The body can suffer from deficiency of these vitamins if enough fats are not present in the diet. 3. Insulation. The layer of fat under the skin helps in maintaining body temperature. 4. Protection. Fats act as a cushion to important organs in the body and protect them from shocks and external injuries. Palatability. Fats are used for cooking and frying and so make the food tasty and acceptable. 6. Satiety value. They take longer time to be digested in the body. This gives us a feeling of fullness and satisfaction. Fats are concentrated source of energy and make your food tasty. 3rd April 2002 Sources. Fats are obtained from vegetable as well as animal sources. What constitutes these two sources? Vegetable sources. Vegetable cooking oils are extracted from oilseeds and nuts such as groundnut, mustard, sesame, till, soya bean, cottonseed and coconut. Figure 3.2, A. Source of vegetable fats. Look at the screen for table content. Animal sources, milk, egg yolk and fats like ghee, butter, cream, fish liver. Oils are some of the fats of animal origin. Figure 3.2, B. Sources of animal fats. Look at the screen for table content. 3rd April 2003 Effects of deficiency and excess on the body. Deficiency of fat. Fats affect the body when either they are deficient or in excess. Lack of fats in the diet basically causes lack of energy. This leads to underweight, tiredness and reduced work efficiency. The body can suffer from deficiency of vitamins like A, D, E, and K if enough fat is not present in the diet. Excess of fat. Excess of fat in our diet leads to overweight. This in turn can be one of the causes of diseases like diabetes, heart disease and high blood pressure. Excess of fat in diet leads to obesity. Check your progress. Exercise 1. 1. List 3 functions of fats. 2. Mention 5 good sources of plant and animal fats. 3.5 Proteins. Protein is the chief component of all body tissues. We obtain proteins mainly from animal foods like milk and milk products, meat, fish and egg. Pulses and nuts are also good sources of protein. 3rd May 2001 Functions of proteins. There are 3 important functions of proteins. I. For growth and maintenance. Proteins are required for growth and maintenance of the body tissues. More protein is required by the body during periods of growth for if is needed to build up new tissues. Therefore, children need more proteins per unit body weight to grow normally. Pregnant mothers need more protein for the growth of the fetus. Also, lactating mothers need extra proteins to help them in the secretion of milk. Include protein-rich foods for infants, children, pregnant and nursing mothers. 2. Regulation of body processes. Many body processes are controlled by the presence of proteins in the body. For this, proteins present in the form of enzymes and hormones help to regulate a number of important body processes. Proteins also give resistance to the body to protect itself against infections. 3. Proteins as a source of energy. 1 gram of protein provides 4 cal. But protein foods are expensive sources of energy. As already explained, under carbohydrates, it is preferable to use proteins for bodybuilding only by providing enough carbohydrates and fats in the diet so that proteins are spared. This is called protein sparing action. 3rd May 2002 Sources. Protein is obtained from the following 2 sources. Animal protein sources. These include milk, egg, meat, fish, poultry and milk products like cheese, curd, coa. These foodstuffs have good quality proteins or complete proteins as they are completely used up by the body. Vegetable protein sources. Pulses like whole and split, soya beans, nuts and all seeds like peanuts, almonds and cashew nuts are rich sources of vegetable protein. Cereals like wheat and rice also provide some amount of protein. The proteins of these foodstuffs are not of good nutritional quality. If any one of these foods is the only source of protein in the diet, the protein is not completely used. However, a combination of these foods or their combination with any animal protein food improves their protein quality and they are used better. It is nutritionally better to use a mixture of cereals and pulses at a meal, rather than using either cereals or pulses alone. Khichdi, rice and dal, missi, roti, wheat flour plus besan, idli, and dosa are some good examples of cereal and pulse combinations. Similarly, addition of even a small amount of milk, curd or other animal protein like meat, fish improves utilization of plant proteins, for example rice kheer, khichdi with curd. Figure 3.3, Protein-rich foods. Look at the screen for table content. Mixtures of cereals and pulses are good for growth of children. 3rd May 2003 Effects of deficiency and excess on the body. Protein deficiency generally affects the children adversely, and this condition is called kwashiorkor. This leads to retardation in normal growth pattern. In severe cases there is oedema as well as changes in the hair and skin. It can lead to a lowering of resistance to infections, and children often suffer from diarrhea. In pregnant mothers, deficiency of protein in the diet retards the growth of the fetus. In lactating mothers it could lead to less production of milk. Check your progress. Exercise 2. 1. Write 3 functions of protein. Practical activity 2. List 4 dishes which you prepare at home using combination of cereals and pulses. You are listening to this audiobook on Audio Learn IGNOU. 3.6 Water. Water is the abundantly distributed nutrient in our body. It constitutes about 2/3 of our total body weight. It is present in every cell of the body. Tissues. Its basic functions are that of giving structure to the cell and participating in metabolic activities. Water is important to maintain our body temperature. It also acts as a medium in which the body substances can dissolve and thus be transported to different tissues for metabolic activities. It is also the main component of urine formed in the body, thus helping in the excretion of waste material. As water surrounds the internal body tissues, it protects them from external shocks and injuries. We should take plenty of water as such or in the form of juices, milk and beverages like tea. Take plenty of water daily in any form so as to keep yourself healthy and to prevent dehydration. Check your progress. Exercise 3. 1. Why is water considered important for our body? Write your answer in about 5 lines. Practical activity 3. List 3 common foods rich in the following 2 nutrients and indicate the cost per 100 grams. A. Energy. B. Protein. 3.7 Let us sum up. You have just read that food contains various nutrients which have very specific functions to perform. Macronutrients are present in larger amounts in food while micronutrients are present in smaller amounts. Carbohydrates, fats, proteins and water are macronutrients. Carbohydrates mainly provide energy and form the bulk of the diet. They are found in cereals, roots and tubers, sugar, jaggery, fruits, etc. Fats are concentrated sources of energy and are present in our diet in the form of ghee, vanaspati and oils, nuts and oilseeds, milk and egg yolk. Protein is the chief component of all tissues and is responsible for body building and repair of tissues. Milk and milk products, meat, fish, egg, pulses, nuts and oilseeds contain a good amount of protein. Water performs many different functions in the body. It is important to take plenty of water as such or in the form of different beverages. 3.8 Glossary. GM%, grams of particular nutrient in 100 grams of food. Enzyme, a protein substance produced by living cells which controls chemical changes without undergoing any change in itself. Fetus, the young embryo, child, growing in the womb of the mother. Gastrointestinal tract, the tract extending from the mouth to the rectum, through which food passes during the process of digestion and absorption. Hormone, secretion of an internal body gland which regulates various body processes. Lactating mother, a mother who is breastfeeding the child. Resistance, ability of the body to resist diseases in the body. 3.8 Answers to check your progress. Exercises. Check your progress. Exercise 1. 1. A. Energy giving. B. Absorption and utilization of fat-soluble vitamins. C. Maintenance of body temperature. 2. A. Groundnut oil. B. Mustard oil. C. Coconut oil. D. Ghee. E. Cream. Check your progress. Exercise 2. 1. A. Growth and maintenance. B. Regulation of body processes. C. Protection from infections. Check your progress. Exercise 3. 1. Water is needed for giving structure to the body, metabolic activities. Maintenance of body temperature, as medium for transport, and utilization of body substances. It also helps in excretion of waste products. It protects us from external shocks. Thank you. We will see you in the next video.